Oh, okay, that's better. We may proceed.
All I know is you opened the door and I heard some British lady say something about SpongeBob.
Yeah, that would probably be something on the TV. Oh,
SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
Sir SpongeBob the Third.
Does he is he over there? Is he called SpongeBob Square Trousers? Because isn't pants underwear over there?
Yeah, yeah. In a way, that makes the show even funnier to us because we're like, hands are square too. Is his
Yeah.
dick square? Does he have cubes instead of balls?
It's weird the changes that are funny between England and America. My favorite is the fact that we refer to butts as fannies over here, and I'm like, that's a very different thing over there.
Yeah.
Other side, the front bum. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grooved and Removed. This is an offshoot of Cranked and Ranked, if you are unaware. And we've done this 4 or 5 times now, where we take some classic albums and we have a discussion about if we had the power to remove one track from every album, which one would it be? And in our scenario, we're thinking about things like they're permanently removed. What would the album be like with this track permanently removed? And we don't fuck around with instrumentals or interludes or
covers.
Things that aren't full on songs, original songs by the band, are not considered just full on songs. And of course, as usual, old head with me as always, Eddie Sparxx.
Me.
Yeah. And that's what today's episode is. Instead of ranking albums, we're taking classic albums. This time it's the first 6 albums from Black Sabbath, and we'll have a discussion about which song we don't talk about this before the episode. We each do our own choices. We come and have a discussion, and we come to an agreement on which song is permanently removed from that album. A couple of these were pretty difficult for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But there's also every possibility that we just match up.
Yeah, that true.
That can happen, but I mean, looking at some of these track lists, I'm thinking to myself, this is fucking hard.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Hey.
I brought my vinyls today to help us, guide us along the way. But before we get there, I want to shout out a couple of emails we recently got. One of them was from way earlier in the month, and I've just forgotten to respond to it, from our buddy Tom Thurston, who watches a lot of our shit and emails me often about stuff. And he's a good dude. And I'll sort of paraphrase his email, because he essentially was saying that it would be cool if we could put together sometime a video showing our process for how we put together an episode and how we put together a ranking.
Oh, that's cool.
And the idea is, like, just thinking about it, I go, yeah, that would be cool. But then I think about, well, what do we actually have to do? Do we make videos of ourselves listening to stuff, or show us writing down notes? Because really we really could just sum it up right here, what we do, instead of making an entire video about it. Because it seems like it'd be really boring. It'd be like a shot of me with a pen doing this, with headphones on. And then it would be me making coffee.
But set to the tune of Montage.
Oh, yeah.
Team America. That'd be incredible.
So really, like, we can just sum it up. So, like, I know, like, my process, depending on the band. So if if it's a band that I don't know that well, let's say I have a full week. Let's say we record an episode. We usually record our episodes on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening for Eddie.
Yeah.
But let's say that we have 1 week and we have a discography to get through. If it's a band that I don't know that well, Monday morning, because I work from home. So Monday morning, I start listening to albums and I'm working and I'm writing down notes. Sometimes I'll go, back and listen to a song again. If it's a really awful discography, sometimes I skip songs about halfway through. I'll give each song at least a half listen, but that hasn't happened very often. It's just been a few cases where I've gotten fatigue from doing it that I'm just like, I'm just going to skip through the rest of this song. But so I'll do that throughout the week. So if I have, let's say we have 8 albums, I'll do like maybe 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday. But I'll go in whatever order I've decided. And if it's a band that I know really well, I want to be really fresh with it. So sometimes I do it on Friday. Like I will just listen to a whole bunch of albums in a row. And as I'm going, I'll put them in an order. And throughout the week, usually with ones that I don't know very well, on the weekend before we do the episode, I'll go back and kind of spot listen to some albums, and sometimes I'll shift them around because I'm like, well, I've thought about it for a little bit. Maybe I'll change places. And then that's really it. I mean, it's not, sometimes I'm listening on headphones. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I do both. There's been sometimes that I've, just listen to albums all the way through on one day, and then the other day, like in the evening, I'll listen to it with some headphones on. But it really depends on the band. But that's really the gist of it, is I just give myself however much time I think I'm going to need, and to really like listen to all of them and actually have something to say. But yeah, that's pretty much my process. What is your ritual?
I kind of, because I've got quite a busy schedule now compared to when we started this. Like when we started this was like COVID era, like early pandemic. So maybe like the first 3 months of lockdown had passed, and we'd like kind of entered the summer by this point. So I had nothing to do but go to work, listen to music. If I wasn't at work, I was listening to music, playing video games. And that was pretty much it, because there was nothing else to do. So I thought, I'll combine 2 passions of mine and get this thing off the ground. Well, eventually things started happening with the band. We can get out again. So like car journeys, if I know that I'm playing a gig somewhere but I've got albums to listen to, I have like an entire playlist. I'm not even sure if they're like private or not playlists, but I've got like Cranked and Ranked. I have a whole folder of playlists.
And that's on Spotify, everybody. So if you want to find it.
Yeah, that's on Spotify. And like I've got shitloads of bands here. If you want to have a look at, maybe some that we would be doing in the near future. Things we'll definitely get around to, but you can probably find them. Either way, I just gradually remove songs I've listened to from the playlist and basically count it down until there's nothing left. So, that's
a good way to do it. I should start doing that.
I'll give everything like as fair a listen as I can. If I've heard the album before and I know that it's going to be a high placing, there have been times where I've done a ranking just knowing full well where it's going to go, and not needing to listen to it to know, because it's always in rotation. So but when it comes to recording this as well, I think a cool little thing is I'll let them know on what I'm actually looking at right now. Is to the left of me I have like the recording software. In the middle I've got yours truly, old head himself, dead center, so that it doesn't look like he's over there when I'm talking. But and then I'll have whatever info I need on the right hand side, and I'll scroll down through that. So I've basically got just a big old control panel in here. It's really cool.
And my shit's all on paper.
Yeah, yeah. Analog digital.
Well, it's only because like we've got the recording going for the podcast side of things. We've got the Zoom going. I always try to make sure I don't have anything open I don't need.
Yeah,
But not that. I mean, I'm pretty sure that my MacBook could handle it. I just don't want to jinx it. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna put it down on paper. That way, I don't have extra things open. But
fair enough. Yeah. It's it's something I enjoy doing, listening to all these albums.
yeah,
Granted, if I'm having a hard time with an album, I will split it up into parts. I'll be like,
yeah,
man, I don't know if I have the attention span to sit here for like 70 minutes with this album that's renowned for not being as good as X amount of other albums. So like
yeah.
if to stay like fully engaged, to give everything a fair enough shot, I kind of listen to that sort of album on a like 3 song by 3 song basis.
Yeah.
Uh and that can help really like milk all the content for as much as I can, because I do all of my ranking track by track, whereas you're very much overall vibe.
Yeah.
Whereas that's the little dynamic we got going on. But
And it works really well. And it's funny that you mentioned the dynamic, because that leads me to the other email that I want to give a shout out to, from James Weiskittle. If you're listening, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But he just basically gave us a lot of kudos. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read you these couple of paragraphs here, because we like getting this good feedback. So he's really enjoying what we're doing, and he says, from the format to the banter, you guys. And he asks, "How did you meet Eddie?" Anyway, I can go over that.
Tinder.
I mean, that was quick. You guys have struck up a winning formula. Obviously, I'm a huge All Things Metal fan, so I was invested from the start, but let me be first to tell you that not all podcasts are created equal. Speaking from a former host myself, I fully recognize the time and effort it takes to elevate blokes shooting the shit to a listenable, coherent conversation worth sharing. To that point, your podcast is a cut above, by far the best music-centric show I've stumbled upon in years. And that's
Wow. Thank you.
yeah. So that's fucking great. And he also, he's around my age, and he's it looks like he's been, not only he worked in record stores, but involved in the music industry. And he's like, if you ever want somebody to be a guest, and we'll definitely keep you in mind, James.
Hell yeah.
Because we're constantly looking for ways to branch out the Cranked and Ranked formula, because
Cinematic universe.
yeah, really. And so we do. That's why we do things like today with Grooved and Removed, because we're never going to stop doing band rankings.
Mhm.
But it's become very clear over the last 3 years that people that watch us, a good majority of them aren't there just for whatever band it is we're doing. They've just somehow become entertained by our banter. And so it's like, well, we don't necessarily need to just always be ranking. We can keep it music, or music adjacent, and do some other things where we have other kinds of discussions. And so that brings us to this. So James, thank you very much for the email. And just to briefly sum up, the way that we met each other was through our YouTube channels. To basically sum it up very quickly, Eddie started commenting on some of my videos. I commented on his videos, and then we started talking via email. And Eddie had the idea for this podcast, and several months later, it came to be. So that was really
wild to think that that's 3 years ago, because I remember where I was when I came up for the idea to do Cranked and Ranked, and that was in the library of Falmouth University.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sat there, and it's just one of those like light bulb moments. And I was actually editing the Faith No More video
Mm-hmm.
that I made ages ago. I I will say about my YouTube channel, at the minute, the band is the priority. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but, I'm always going to be on here. So, yeah.
Have you
Anyway,
ever thought, this is a suggestion from a fan, from me.
mhm.
Have you ever thought about, like, when you guys go do a festival or something, like do a little videography, throw together a little video of like the day,
Yeah.
and that might be kind of cool because the Eddie Sparxx brand can be all about your band too. Might as well be.
Yeah, we've been thinking about like kind of putting together some like band vlogs, maybe shooting a little bit of some practice sessions we've had because
That'd be
recently
cool.
there's actually about a couple nights ago we played a rehearsal session with each other, and it's honestly the best I think we've ever played, like locked in together. We're a three piece.
Yeah.
We're a three piece grungy metal band a la Alice in Chains, Pantera, Helmet. Or if you kind of took those, put them in a blender.
That is a good thing. That's a good description. All those things together are kind of what you guys sound like.
Yeah, that kind of early '90s chunky but spacious kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what we strive to achieve, and we're achieving it.
So yeah, that's a lot about a lot of not talking about Black Sabbath. But I'm always happy if anyone sends an email to oldheadpodcast@gmail.com. Sometimes I will respond via email. Sometimes I try to hold on to them to talk about them on an episode. But I love hearing whatever it is, that you guys have to throw my way. But yeah, so we might as well get on to the task at hand, which is removing songs from classic Black Sabbath albums. So we'll if we're starting in order, then
Yes, we are.
we start with Black Sabbath, the album Black Sabbath, which features the song Black Sabbath by the band Black Sabbath. And this is all my vinyl is they're not they're all 70s pressings, but the only like original from the year is my volume 4. That one's actually from 72. But
Wow.
I don't know what year this one is. I think this is like 76 or something like that.
Right.
But yeah,
That's
so
still significantly older than my pressing.
yeah, it's they're old. So just to run down the track listing on Black Sabbath, it starts with Black Sabbath. Then you have The Wizard, and the interesting thing about this is that it's technically only 5 tracks, but there's 2 of them that have like multiple sections. And I didn't even think about the sections. I figured if you remove that track, you're removing all those sections.
Wow.
So Black Sabbath, The Wizard, and then the next one is Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically an NIB, and side 2, Wicked World, and then the next track is A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, and Warning. And so, did you look at them as just 5 tracks?
The way I've got them on here, as albums digitally, just so that they're easy to organize, it's just got them as songs. So Black Sabbath, Wizard, Behind the Wall of Sleep, NIB, Evil Woman, Sleeping Village, and Warning.
Okay.
There is Wicked World, but that's not on the original. So
Wicked World is not on the original. It's on this.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Wicked World is on here. Maybe it's not on the first pressing. Maybe.
That's strange.
I've always heard Wicked World on this album, so I don't know. But I was also not born until 8 years after this came out.
Hold on, that's gonna bug me. I need to look this up now.
To the internets.
Why is that not on the CD? Let's have a look. Discography. Black Sabbath from 1970. Okay. Length. There is a length difference between the UK and US version. Let's have a quick look.
Interesting.
Okay, so the European edition doesn't have Wicked World on it. The North American edition does. So you get a bonus.
All right. Well, I'll just go ahead and start with mine. I did not remove Wicked World, so it doesn't even matter. I ended up removing a bit of finger, Sleeping Village / Warning,
Okay.
because it is 14, almost 14 and a half minutes long, and it's the least interesting song on the album for me. It doesn't. It's got its moments, but for the most part, it doesn't do much for me compared to all the other songs. So what did you
I
choose?
also I went for Sleeping Village, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's got it separated because Warning is a cover, so
Oh, it
that's
is.
yeah.
Shit.
So that's what had me thinking. Originally, I was going to say Warning because it's just a bit of a jam, but Sleeping Village being the original, and they're separated as tracks. So I'm gonna go with Sleeping Village.
Well, we'll just.
Um,
Which section is that? Because I literally have only heard the album like this. So, which section is Sleeping Village?
it's the kind of quiet, spooky one.
But is there vocals during that part? Is it an actual song? I think the
Let,
whole thing is a song.
uh,
This
let
is
me
the
have a
first
good.
time this has happened. Why has Black Sabbath got to make shit so complicated?
Oh yeah, no, Sleeping Village does have vocals.
I feel like we're copping out by not just removing the whole 14-minute track.
The thing I'm having a problem with here is though is that they're listed as two separate songs on here, so yeah,
Interesting.
it's weird. Sleeping Village on um like digital formats, I guess, the way they've got it set up, or the way they've divided it later down the line. They've got Sleeping Village as its own original track and Warning as a Ainsley Dunbar cover.
You're right. So that's really weird because like the way that it's written on the album is that they're grouped together. Those are grouped together, and then on Apple Music they're also grouped together as one track.
Oh, for real?
So that's why I thought of it that way, because I'm like, yeah, it always seems like it goes together. Well, I guess that means Sleeping Village goes because that was part of my choice.
Right.
But what does that do to the song if you cut out Sleeping Village? This
Well,
is
you just get the Ainsley Dunbar jam.
okay. Well, then that was pretty easy. Not
Yeah.
really that easy, but you know what I'm saying. And Sleeping Village gets removed, which means it just goes from a bit of finger to Warning. But yeah, okay. Feel free in the comments to put down what one you would have removed, or yeah, that's so confusing. Luckily, I don't think there's anything quite that confusing in any of the other albums. A couple things. All right, but that would bring us. So that means that means that yeah, that's just a weird. I would like to know how that. I want to go and listen to it again and just take that part out and see what it sounds like. But album number 2, Paranoid.
Classic.
Which mine, I don't know if they all have gatefolds, but mine has a gatefold.
I think mine might have a gatefold. I'm not sure.
But the track list is War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, and Fairies Wear Boots. This one, I wouldn't remove any song from this album.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you because on the one hand, there's a part of me that feels like, I think of Paranoid as one of those albums where I'm like, I've heard it so many times, in the wild that I never need to hear it again. But whenever I do hear it, it's a fucking treat because it's just
Yeah.
banger after classic banger.
It's a classic for a reason. But so when I first went into looking at this album and I was like, went through all the tracks, I'm like, well, the easy one to get rid of would be Planet Caravan because it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb because the rest of the songs are very riff oriented, heavy, Sabbath stuff. But I really like Planet Caravan.
And
So
sorry.
Go ahead.
Continue. I was just going to say, I honestly thought that you were going to say Rat Salad because it's like the shortest of the bunch and it's it's a sizable portion of it is drum solo. It's basically their Moby Dick,
But
but
I
it's
but I
also
like
really cool.
yeah, I really like Rat Salad. So I had to go and listen to a few of the songs a couple times,
Yeah.
and I went back and forth on what I would remove. And I hate even saying this. My choice to remove would be Hand of Doom.
I also chose Hand of Doom.
Hey, there you go. That was easy.
But like the problem is that's still an awesome song, you know.
Agreed. But it's
But
like putting it up next to everything else. And and with Rat Salad, like I just like what it adds to the album. Same thing with Planet Caravan, because I'm like, well, it does stick out, but I like what it adds to the album. So Hand of Doom is, a fucking killer song, but there's more killer songs
yeah,
than that. Yeah, which would that would be, that literally would be, leading Electric Funeral into Rat Salad. The funny thing about these albums is we've done albums before. Like if you remove a track from Angel Dust, it's still a pretty long album. But we're removing one track from an album that's like 35 minutes long or something.
it's a 42-minute album actually.
42.
Yeah.
It's not super long, but we're removing a big song from it, and then
Then it would be 35 because it's a 7-minute. So 42 take away 7. That is a 35-minute album.
And something I discovered while going through these albums is a lot of times it's the longer songs that lose me on their early stuff, because if the riff isn't fucking amazing, if it's just kind of a bluesy thing, then I'm like, why does this have to be so goddamn long? And sometimes Ozzy's vocals are just him singing along with the riff sometimes, or something that isn't really that great, it's so interesting to listen to early Ozzy, because Ozzy, from one track to another, will have a song where I listen to the vocal line and go, it's not amazing. And then the next song go, fuck, Ozzy, how did you come up with that? That's amazing. That's so great. And so it's like, it's almost like he had a day where he wasn't quite so fucked up. He came up with some better vocal lines. But they're all fucking classic at this point. But it's interesting to me that just, some of the songs, if I was going to point out, this is the thing that makes a song amazing, it's like just one little riff, and the rest of it I go, the rest of it's fine, but that one riff is iconic. So it's really strange. But that was an easy one to do.
This album, man, like you look at all of the song titles and you can sing the riffs.
Yeah.
Oh, like reading through this takes me back to like the early stages of like learning about metal, and like when I found out Black Sabbath were effectively the first band to do heavy metal proper, it was, this album I remember going through like, wow, this really is the first kind of rumblings of this. So yeah,
like many guitarists before me, Iron Man was one of the first songs I learned on guitar. And I would play it on my stereo and play along with it on my guitar. I guess because a lot of those things, they're slower, and it's easier to, once you kind of figure out what you're doing, it's easier to get it. Of course, I would stop playing once the solo started. I would play all the way up to that point, and then I'd be like, fuck it.
Yeah. Dude.
Okay.
This next one's gonna be fucking hard.
Master of Reality. I got one of those copies where you can't really see the title, but you got to shine a light on it. I think this one's like 1978 or something like that.
My personal favorite.
I like that. It's got the lyrics on the back cover. I don't know if that's on every pressing, but I really like that. And it's embossed, which I really like that too.
Yes.
But so Master of Reality, and I think this was both of our number ones on our Black Sabbath ranking, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No way in hell it wasn't.
So
at least for me.
So we've got Sweet Leaf, After Forever, Embryo, which is an instrumental, so that's not included. Children of the Grave. What?
I was just gonna say, and it's 27 seconds long.
Yeah. Children of the Grave, Orchid, which is an instrumental, Lord of This World, Solitude, and Into the Void. Jesus Christ.
It's fucking hard, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a fucking ridiculously good album.
Yeah. Insane.
Anyway, so this was another one that I thought was going to be very hard, but because I did this right after listening to Paranoid, and when I got to Solitude, I was like, this is a similar kind of song, but not as good as Planet Caravan. And so I said, you know what? Can't get rid of anything else in this fucking album, so Solitude has to go. Yeah, it's just the only one where I was just like, I could do without this. There's a better sort of like mellow Sabbath song on the album before.
Okay, this is going to be our first little disagreement.
What the fuck can you remove?
You tell me.
What other song on here? I mean, no. Sweet Leaf, After Forever, Children of the Grave, Lord of This World, Into the Void. What huge mistake are you about to make?
Now, I have always found myself, right? I fucking adore Sweet Leaf, so that is safe, right?
Okay.
But coming right off the heel of Sweet Leaf, I'm kind of like, can we please get to Children of the Grave and then Lord of This World and then Into the Void? And as much as it pains me to do it, it's one of the songs on my favorite albums. I'm going After Forever because, like, as much as I love that thing going on,
that groove is too fucking good.
But here's the thing, right? It's on an album of incredible groovage right the way through, barring Solitude. But the thing is, there aren't many songs in Black Sabbath that, barring Planet Caravan, I really appreciate these kind of different kind of left turn kind of songs.
Yeah.
And so, like, when I stacked together all the riffers, I was there like, Lord of This World is great.
Oh hell yeah. Yeah.
Like it's awesome. And then you get like a little breather with Solitude. And then you get the grand finale with Into the Void, which to me, personally, I feel like it makes Into the Void hit even harder because you got this like spooky little interlude. And then so in terms of like sequencing, if Sweet Leaf went straight into
can you imagine just being Tony Iommi and just writing that riff one day?
Oh,
where where was he? Did he think about it when he was on the toilet and he's just like, that's pretty good? And he goes, he grabs his guitar,
It is really calm Birmingham accent,
Because I can't. There are some songs that I just can't imagine that like, oh, that dude just wrote that one day.
I mean, you could say that about most of Black Sabbath's career. I mean,
that's true. It's very true. But that for some reason there are some riffs that are just so like you could just play that riff on a loop.
Oh yeah.
The vocals don't even need to ever start.
Yeah.
And I'd be perfect. There's a couple like that on other albums we'll get to also, but you make a good case.
My thing is that, losing to me After Forever from a sequencing standpoint, I feel if you go Sweet Leaf, Embryo, Children of the Grave, that's essentially a 1-2 punch of just fucking incredible. Yeah. Holy goddamn. Then straight off of Orchid, it gives you Lord of This World. And then after Solitude, it's almost like this like push and pull.
You're right. I like that. I like that way of thinking. I'm gonna secede or whatever. What's the word?
That's concede. That's
Concede. Woo! Yeah, I'm American. I don't know words. Um, except words like strategery.
Strategery.
And yeah, so okay,
Strategicism.
that too. And yeah, so okay, I'm okay with removing After Forever from Master of Reality. Luckily, we don't actually have to do that. But in the case of in the alternate universe that is Grooved and Removed, that album no longer has After Forever on it.
Yeah,
which we still got 3 more to go. And this album, this is the one that, like, I talk about Volume 4 about how it's gotten this reputation of being this amazing album, and really compared to all the rest of these, it's the worst in my opinion. It's still got great shit on it. It's a classic album, but I don't really like the production on it. Some of the songs are kind of especially in between Master of Reality and fucking Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I mean, that's insane. But anyway, Volume 4, which this is a 72. Look at it. Hold on, look, it's got pages.
Ooh.
It's got pages.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then and then the back cover. So this one, the track listing on Volume 4, Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, Changes, FX, Supernaut, Snowblind, Cornucopia, Laguna Sunrise, St. Vitus's Dance, and Under the Sun. So, there were some on here that obviously can't go because they're, not legit songs.
Mm-hmm. Like FX, for example.
Yeah. And then, I don't, to some people, for some reason, I've heard that they don't really like Changes. And I just love that song so much.
It's a great song. It's not a metal song, but it's a great song. It doesn't have to be heavy to be good.
Yeah. And honestly, one of the reasons why Black Sabbath was so great is because they would do things like that just randomly on an album. But so my biggest problem with this album, aside from the production, is that it starts off with what I think is the weakest track on the album, which is Wheels of Confusion.
High five! And,
all right.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to tell you, that song is fucking cursed because I had a tire blowout when I was listening to Wheels of Confusion.
Holy
and I was
shit.
driving along. What the fuck? Oh, shit. I'm confused. And that's a wheel. Yeah. So I was like, oh, motherfucker. And then I had to get picked up by the AA dudes. Yeah.
And and I just,
that was easy.
That was easy. But that song really, to me, just, and plus starting off with Tomorrow's Dream, that's a fucking great song.
Yeah.
And I just think Wheels of Confusion is another one that it's just too long for what it actually delivers. And it's not bad. Like, there's no skippable tracks on any of these fucking albums. I'm going to say that right now. But yeah, well, that was easy. Wheels of Confusion has been removed from Volume 4, which, starts us right off with Tomorrow's Dream.
I'm just gonna really quickly come in here, and I always say this whenever this comes up.
Okay.
How fucking heavy is Cornucopia for something from 1972?
Yeah.
That intro, like you said about Lord of this World.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't talked about Sabbath for a while, right? Imagine coming up with boom, bum, dum, 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 dum.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 boom. While flower power is still kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's the thing, is that I feel like that's one of the unexplainable things that turns people into quote unquote metalheads or fans of metal, is that You play me like the most beautiful, like classical music piece by, seasoned veterans who are masters of their instrument and perfectly composed, and everyone's playing beautifully and it's an absolute classic. It will make me feel nothing, but the riff from Cornucopia, I
Yeah.
feel it in my body. Like
Yeah.
it starts playing and it's just like it's a physical reaction to riffs and other things like that, that rock music and metal music, sometimes hip hop music, is the only stuff that does that. There's
Yeah.
no other music that it exists in the world that physically makes me feel something when I hear it. Like that's, so
Yeah.
if anybody ever wanted an explanation, there you go. It's unexplainable. It just happens to your body.
Oh yeah.
Satan. It's Satan entering your body.
Metal.
It was almost like a gall or whatever with Satan. That's my favorite thing from any documentary ever. Have you seen that from Metal: A Headbanger's Journey?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just Gall, and he's sitting on a long ass table, and then Sam Dunn asks him, what is your number one influence for your music? And he just sits there for a second. And he goes, Satan.
Yeah.
And he takes a drink.
That's fucking hilarious.
That dude's awesome. But and Sam Dunn is awesome as well. But
Yes.
But
Shout out Sam Dunn.
And Gall. Am I saying his name right? Probably not.
Sam Dunnengall.
All right, bringing us to probably my second favorite Black Sabbath album, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. And
let's get a look at that rear cover.
I've always
thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah, very cool.
The contrast.
The juxtaposition of the two sides.
Yeah. That's cool.
But so the track listing we've got here: Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, A National Acrobat, Fluff, Sabracad or Floof, Sabracadabra, Killing Yourself to Live, Who Are You, Looking for Today, and Spiral Architect. So I love all of these songs.
Yeah.
But there's only one that has a part that sometimes annoys me.
Okay. Elaborate.
And that is Ozzy singing, Looking for Today. Like that sometimes, if I'm having a bad allergy day and like things are hurting my head, I'll just be like, no, Ozzy, no. Plus that song's kind of goofy. But so I chose to remove Looking for Today, because like, speaking of other riffs, A National Acrobat and Spiral Architect both have riffs that I'm just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
50 years later, it's still just like, God damn it. Not to mention fucking Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, which is an absolute classic. But what did you do? Oh, and Sabracadabra's got my favorite Ozzy vocal moment in the middle of it with the lovely lady. I love that part. Yeah. Anyway, all right, which song did you choose?
Honestly, for me, this one was a bit of a toss-up because there's two tracks on here like I'm not overly precious about, but the rest of the album, I'm as far as I'm concerned, is fucking killer. Yeah. And it was gonna be for me between Who Are You and Looking for Today.
I love how weird Who Are You is. It makes me so happy.
Now, I was going to say, I actually had it in the playlist as Who Are You, as the one I was going to remove. But now I think about it, Looking for Today is kind of like one of those that's, sticks out a little bit like a sore thumb. Whereas Who Are You, granted, it's using like weird synthesizers and stuff, but it's still kind of menacing.
Yeah.
And it almost reminds me of like 70s Doctor Who.
the Cybermen are walking down the street to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like barely any budget special effects going on, but you still
Yeah.
heavily invested. Yeah.
That's what made that original Doctor Who so great, is
Yeah.
just and so they would do so much with so little sometimes.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really like I really like that one episode from the Tom Baker era where they go through the whole TARDIS, and it's like a fucking building with staircases, and it's
yeah.
like they just went and shot it in a different building, and they're like, "Oh, this is the TARDIS." We're going down all these hallways and floors and staircases and shit. It's pretty funny.
Oh man. Yeah. I remember there was like one like classic Doctor Who I caught one time on TV. And there was an alien whose hand was literally just bubble wrap spray painted green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. And that's it. And
Man.
and the show was massive. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say, being a child of the 2000s, Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant will always be my favorite personal era of Doctor
Yeah.
Who.
Yeah.
But I got mad respect for the early stuff, man. I've got books upon books of the stuff in the attic somewhere. I used to be obsessed with Daleks as a kid. Like before metal, there was Doctor Who,
Yeah.
and Daleks were my Metallica.
I always bring it up, but my older brother was obsessed with Doctor Who, and he was the guy that he helped run the Doctor Who conventions in Austin, Texas. Got to drive around John Pertwee and other people when they were in town. But he was so into it, he had all sorts of shit. But he even because he became an art teacher, and he's always been very good at art. He literally fashioned the door to his bedroom to where it looked like the TARDIS door.
Wow.
So it was, he just made it out of like construction paper and all this other stuff. But his door was just the door to the TARDIS when you would go into his room.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I've got like folders upon folders of those like Doctor Who Battles in Time trading cards up in the attic somewhere. But
Nice.
yeah, that's. I'm hoping they're a lot of money.
I'm sure there's something there.
Someone will pay it.
All right. Well, we that was pretty quick to do Sabbath Play Sabbath. We're going to remove looking for today. Which I like that song, but yeah, it's got to go. If something's got to go. Plus, it's standing in the middle of Who Are You and Spiral Architect, so it's like, all right, let's not fuck around.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I think a very underrated Black Sabbath album because I really like this one a lot.
Absolutely.
Sabotage. And,
Absolutely.
We'll do the front and the back, where they're on which side of the mirror are they really on? I don't know. But so this has Hole in the Sky, Don't Start, Too Late, Symptom of the Universe, Megalomania, The Thrill of It All, Super Czar, Am I Going Insane, Radio, and The Writ. So Don't Start Too Late is the weirdest track on any of, like, why is it even there?
Yeah.
But we can't remove it because of our rules.
That's the problem. Like, it's basically just like this weird little like classical noodly thing on a guitar at the end of Hole in the Sky.
Yeah.
Which goes into Symptom of the Universe. So if you count Hole in the Sky and Symptom of the Universe, that is a hell of a 1-2 punch. Like,
Yeah.
as far as an opening 10 minutes of an album go,
Yeah.
fucking hell, that's good.
Megalomania is amazing also.
And Thrill of It All.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Super Czar, I mean, we can't really remove it because it's an instrumental.
Yep.
So, it's cool. It feels like I've always felt that it sounded like something that I would hear on the Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters game for the PS1. Like if you were in like a kind of dark, cavernous area, that's the sort of thing you would hear.
Yeah.
And I also really like The Writ. which leaves me with Am I Going Insane?
Oh,
Radio.
yeah.
Which
That
is
I did not choose that. Did you choose Am I Going Insane?
I chose Am I Going Insane because like I feel like the rest of the album has this dark vibe, and that song kind of pulls me out of it a little bit. And this is like my underrated Evil Sabbath album.
But what if it had the odd quality of ending on Am I Going Insane? Because I removed the writ because
Okay, I
it's
mean,
got it's got the least going on for me to really like. I wouldn't miss it that much, you
what are
know.
you talking about, man? At the end, they do that little thing where it goes, "I want you to blow on a jug. I want you to blow on a jug."
Yeah, you're right. We would be missing that out.
I'm just kidding.
I love Am I Going Insane? It's just such a great song.
I never said I didn't like it, but in terms of like vibe wise, you know,
Yeah, I guess you're probably right. Jesus.
but I'm also of the mindset that there's already a very long song on this album, and that very long song is better.
Well, yeah,
So
yeah, I just don't think it doesn't do enough for me, in my opinion. But
Megalomania is the one where he goes, "Shock me," right?
yeah,
Yeah. All right, Megalomania is staying. Yeah, I get the two mixed up sometimes.
I think that. Yeah, you maybe have a good. I mean, I love Am I Going Insane, but I guess on the album maybe it doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense, and
I'm
doesn't really add much to the album either.
I'm thinking you could look at this one of two ways. If you get rid of Am I Going Insane, you have a consistently dark, scary, kind of psychological horror vibe going on. Right?
Yeah,
Whereas if you get rid of the writ, the album is significantly shorter and more palatable.
yeah.
So like
You've got damn you for having such good takes on this stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like excellent point, you son of a bitch.
Uh,
But yeah, so I'm okay with that. We can remove Am I Going Insane from Igatobaz. Ooh, when I look at it in my thing, it says sabotage. But it's because I'm looking at myself mirrored.
That's fucking cool.
Igatobaz.
He got the buzz.
Okay, we'll remove Am I Going Insane? Radio.
Okay.
I like that song.
Me too.
All right, well, you know what? Whenever we do these grooves and removes, they always end with us kind of going, okay. Because it's always a fun conversation, but at the end, it's like, what did we really do here? Nothing. It's just more of us fucking flapping our gums or whatever they call it. And I don't know, whatever. So we removed. So we'll go backwards. We removed "Am I Going Insane" from Sabotage. We removed "Looking for Today" from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. We removed "Wheels of Confusion" from Volume 4. We removed "After Forever" from Master of Reality. We removed, what did we remove here? Hand of Doom from Paranoid. And we removed Sleeping Village, right?
Yes.
From the debut album. So cool.
That's grouped and removed for 6 Sabbath albums. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's different because we've done albums that I think are more personal to us, and we've had bigger arguments about which songs get removed. But I think that for both of us, Black Sabbath, like, they're such great albums, but they almost feel like they belong to other people, and I just enjoy them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if we're going to talk about Faith No More albums, I'm going to be I'm gonna be really opinionated about it because that was like my
Yeah,
shit. You know.
absolutely. It is Sabbath's always one of those bands where I'm like, I love them, but I know that there is like a group of people out there who were there when it happened and know fuck tons more than I do,
Oh yeah, for
and
real.
about the scene and what it was like when they were there and what was being played. That being said, we between us we both have very extensive knowledge of this stuff, but
Yeah.
again, you and I both came to the game a little late when it came to Sabbath, so
Yeah.
which is weird to think about, which puts into perspective the massive time frame that Sabbath have been a
Well,
thing.
if you think about it, the last Ozzy era, well, the last original Ozzy era Sabbath album came out the year I was born. So by the time I was even aware of music, Ozzy was already a solo artist. It's
Yeah.
like, so that's pretty insane. But I mean, that's when it all started, and we're only getting further and further away from it, folks. We're all getting older and older, and we're all going to die. So thank you for joining us for, for Grooved and Removed. And we've got a cool, fun a ranking that I'm really, really looking forward to. That is going to be one of those bands that I really think there's going to be two separate camps. There's going to be the camp of people that go, why do you got to do this? And then the other set of people is going to be like, fuck yeah, about time. I really think so. I've never met anybody that's on the fence about that band. I've only met fans and people that hate them. Really.
Yeah. Even I will be the first to raise my hand and admit that I've experienced something of a forgiveness arc for this specific time and genre of heavy music.
Yeah.
The type of
Let's see is he going to say it?
Variety.
The real question is, are you ready for this ranking?
Ding 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 ding.
So that one's going to be a two-parter, and this is
boom. Sorry.
I've been looking forward to this because I'm a fan. But I have to admit, there's a few albums that I have not really heard much. And it gives me an excuse to really dig into some of these albums. And so I'm excited about that. Korn.
It's Korn!
It's got the riffs. So
you can't imagine a more beautiful thing.
Yeah, neither can I really. Yeah. So next week, I always say next week, but if something comes up, it might be a week after. Who knows? But the next time you see us, we will be beginning our ranking for the Korn boys. We're going to be
Korn boys.
We better be careful, or we might fall in the corn hole.
Hey. Woo.
That was a corny joke.
Oh, he's on a fucking roll. This motherfucker's on the cob.
It's it's like I'm an actual dad or something with my jokes. But yeah, so that's gonna be a blast. Do you have any parting words for the Black Sabbath Grooved and Removed episode here? That's for next time, dude.
I know it's a teaser. You know that they're gonna shit their britches when I bust out the entire 50 seconds of Twist.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that too.
Oh, dear Lord, what have I done? I've committed myself to it now. That was a joke. And now I have to.
So that's gonna be fun. Get rid of those notes. That's what I do after every episode. I just don't do it on camera. I get these fucking notes out of my way. I don't need them anymore. I need to start my new notes. All right. Well, that's all we've got for this episode of Grooved and Removed. Next week, Cranked and Ranked will be back because we will be ranking things that we cranked. And this time we removed things from the things that we grooved.
Yes.
See how it works?
We did indeed do that. Yes, we did.
But yeah, as I said at the beginning of the episode, if you want to tell us how great we are, send me an email at oldheadpodcast@gmail.com. It's like a car race. It's the Fast and Furious outside your window.
It sounded like a fucking biplane just crop dusted my house. It was.
I was thinking we were gonna have some sound effects today because they're replacing somebody's roof right across the street. But they finished early, so we didn't get the nice roofing sound effects today. But oh well. Yeah. So peanut butter platypus to those of you who are here for this long, and you know who you are. You're the homies. Or what do you call a lady homie? Is it they just homies as well? Everyone's a homie. Homie is a.
I go by dudette.
I'm just going to say that homie is an all-encompassing and inclusive term. I like that. So all of our homies, no matter of your sexual preference or gender, what's the word?
All are welcome.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. I was trying to think of a big fancy word, and I am not very smart. But everybody is welcome on Cranked and Ranked. You're all our homies, all the peanut butter platypuses. And yeah, this has been fun, but it's back to business next time, ladies and gentlemen. So
business time. So
as usual, I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Eddie Sparxx to take us out.
Da-da. Generals gathered later, dude. Da-da. Just like dudes say later, dude. Da-da. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh, Satan. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. I was doing the full Live at Brixton Mike Patton thing.
Wonderful. Good night, everybody, or goodbye.